Hola, muy buenas a todos. En la clase de hoy vamos a hablar de passive voice o voz pasiva. Este tema lo he considerado que está en un nivel 2 porque para trabajar passive voice debemos tener ya muy claro todos los tiempos verbales, toda la gramática, eso debe estar ya afianzado y entonces ahí es cuando podremos trabajar passive voice. Es por eso que lo he catalogado en un nivel 2. La clase va a ser completamente en inglés, así que si tú crees que este tema va contigo, prepárate y a por ello. This class is going to be in English, so you need to have a little level in order to follow my explanation. We're going to see passive voice, we're going to study passive voice, but first I would like to make an introduction and talk about transitive and intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs are verbs which need an object. For example, the verb push. You need to push something. You need to push an object. I push the chair, I push whatever. Turn on. You need to turn on the lights. You need to turn up, for example, the volume. You need an object. You need something to turn up, on, off, okay? Or, for example, the verb love. You need to love something or somebody. I love my mother. I love my bed because I love sleeping in my bed, whatever. But you need an object. You can't say I love. That's not a complete sentence because the verb love is a transitive verb. We have intransitive verbs. These verbs are the ones which make a complete sentence. For example, I sleep. That's all. You don't sleep something or you don't sleep an object. You sleep, I sleep. I walk, I wave. This is to wave, to say hello, to say bye-bye. I swim, and that's a complete sentence. These verbs are intransitive verbs. And some other verbs can be transitive or intransitive depending on the context. I read. In this case, read, it's an intransitive verb. But if you say I read a book, it is a transitive verb. I write an email. I eat could be intransitive in this case. Or I eat an apple, it's transitive verb because you are eating something, you're eating an object, right? The structure for the passive, it's really simple. It's going to be the verb to be and the verb. You need to get this really clear in order to follow the structure. Be, it's going to be in the main tense, and the verb, it's going to be in the past participle. The verb, it's the main verb of the sentence, and you are going to change it, and you need to change it into the past participle. Following this structure, we're going to see some examples. We're going to start with a very easy example. I eat apples. Simple sentence, okay? The first thing we have to identify is the subject, I, the main verb, eat, and the object, apples. We're going to make the object, this object is going to be now the subject, apples, okay? And in the main verb, we have to identify two things, the main tense, and as I said before, the main verb in the past participle, okay? In this case, eat, ate, eaten, right? As I said, we need the verb to be in the main tense. The main tense, in this case, it's present simple, right? So we need the verb to be in the present simple. Apples are, I'm going down. Okay. Apples are the verb to be in the present simple and the main verb in the past participle, eaten. And we have the subject, which is going to be here, the agent, okay? by, this is the agent, okay, by me, okay? Apples are eaten by me. This is the passive voice. Okay, simple example. Writing the agent, in this case, it's nonsense, okay? Because saying that apples are eaten by me, that's nonsense. In this case, we wouldn't have used a passive sentence. If you want to say that you eat apples, you wouldn't have used a passive sentence, okay? But we need a passive voice when we want to emphasize or when we are more interested in the object than in the subject. In this case, we are more interested in the apples and we are not interested in me. So writing by me, it's nonsense, right? So the point is that we're going to use passive voice, when we are more interested in the object than the subject. Sometimes it's interesting writing sentences in passive, but sometimes it's not. Now we're going to see another sentence. This sentence has the main verb, right? It's going to be the tense. It's past simple, okay? And the main verb in past participle, it's write, wrote, read, okay? We need the verb to be in the past simple, which is going to be was or were, depending on the subject, and the main verb in the past participle, read. And we have Hamlet, this is the object, Hamlet. In this case, was written. We can say by Shakespeare in 1603, or we can omit this if we think it's not necessary, it's not interesting for the sentence or for the information we want to give. We want to emphasize the object, Hamlet, and we want to know the year, okay? But it's not interesting for us, the author of Hamlet. Another example I'm going to give you, in this case, we're going to see an affirmative, a negative, and a question. Okay, we're going to see three possibilities. And we have that X-rays are used in medicine, right? This is the verb to be, as we said, in present simple, and the verb use, which is the main verb. Okay, X-rays are used in medicine. And we can say in the negative that X-rays aren't used at schools. Remember, the verb to be, it's going to be the auxiliary. So we are going to put the verb to be in the negative form to create a negative sentence. And it's going to happen the same with a question, okay, with the interrogative. The verb to be, it's the auxiliary, so we are going to put it at the beginning of the sentence. Are X-rays used in medicine? In order to create the question. Remember, the verb to be in passive sentences is the auxiliary. Another situation where you read a passive sentence, it's in a hotel, in a reception, where you usually can see a note where it says, English and French are spoken here. This is a passive sentence, and it means that the staff, that the people working at the hotel can speak both languages. But it's nonsense saying that the staff speak English and French. That's why the sentence is in passive form, because we are emphasizing the languages, not the people speaking those languages. This sentence, it's a little bit more complicated. We have a verb in present perfect. So we have to recognize the tense, main tense, which is present perfect, okay? And we need to recognize the main verb. And in the past participle, it's going to be find. It's the verb is find, found, found. Okay, the verb to be, and we need to have the verb to be in the present perfect. So the present perfect is formed by have or has, and the verb to be and past participle. Right, now with all this information, we're going to form the passive sentence. So we have the cat. In this case, we have for neighbors, but we have cat, which is singular, so we have has, right? The cat has been found, and we can say by the neighbors or not. In this case, we are interested in the cat because we have the cat at home again because it was lost and it has been found. And the person who found the cat is not interesting. We are interested in the cat. So as in every present perfect sentence, the auxiliary is going to be, in this case, has. If you want to make the negative, the cat hasn't been found, or if you want to make a question, we're going to say, has the cat been found? Okay, because the auxiliary of the sentence, the auxiliary of the present perfect, it's not the verb to be, but the verb have. Now, talking about future, no matter what, it's going to be will be. This is the future form of the verb to be. So we have an example. A new phone will be sold. As I said, the future form of the verb to be, and the verb it's going to be sell, and in past participle it's going to be sold. So we have a new phone will be sold next month. And this happens the same with other modals like can be, could be, must be, would be, and all those. Okay, which are really simple. Okay, it's really simple to create a passive sentence with these modals, with these tenses. And the same as in the present perfect, the auxiliary is going to be will. Okay, so the new phone won't, if you want to make a negative, won't be sold next month. Or if you want to make a question, you're going to write the auxiliary at the beginning. So will a new phone be sold next month? Because will is going to be the auxiliary of this sentence. Now we're going to see the continuous forms, because these are they're a little bit more confusing because we already have the verb to be to create the continuous tense, right? So the main verb, well, we have here the main tense. The main tense is the present continuous. Present continuous. So we need to write the verb to be in the present continuous. The present continuous is formed by the verb to be plus a verb plus ing. Right. The verb to be in the present continuous is going to be am, is, or are. And the verb plus ing, it's going to be the verb to be, which we are working with that verb in order to create the passive voice. So we have being. And now we have the main verb and the past participle. Past participle. It's offered. Okay? Yeah. And with all this, we're going to create the new sentence. We will say, I'm going to write it here, okay? So we have free, black fingers, green fingers, free pencils, plural, free pencils are being offered, and that's it. I'm missing an E. Because it's not interesting saying by her. It's nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. So we avoid the agent because we are interested in the object, right? Free pencils are being offered. And this is the way we form a passive voice in the continuous tense. Antes de continuar, sé que lo estás llevando fenomenal, que esta clase completely in English te está molando un montón, así que te pido que me des un like, que me sigas y así no te pierdes ni un vídeo como este. Ya sabes que subo uno todos los martes y viernes alternos, así que dame un like para estar al día de todo. Vamos a seguir. In this example, we're going to see the continuous tense. In this case, it's going to be the past continuous. So we have to identify the main tense, which is, as I said, the past continuous. We need to form the past continuous of the verb to be. We have was or were, and the verb to be in the continuous form. Here we have the verb teach. This is the main verb. And in the past participle, it's going to be taught. Okay? We have teach, taught, taught. Now, with all this information, we can form the new sentence. English was being taught, we can say by my teacher, which is irrelevant, so we're going to avoid it. Yesterday at 10 a.m. So English was being taught here yesterday at 10 a.m. Y yo creo que con esto está hecho el repasito general de los tiempos verbales y cómo se forman en su forma pasiva. Creo que ha quedado claro. Si tenéis alguna duda porque hay algo que me he saltado a explicar o no lo veis, no dudéis en escribirme un comentario y yo lo contesto en cuanto lo vea. Con esto me despido. Hasta el próximo vídeo. Bye bye. See you.